a $40 trillion market. Nvidia CEO is betting big on robots and teaming up with China's Unitree. Now, earlier in the programme, we were talking about physical AI and humanoid robots and the plans that Nvidia has to team up with Unitree, and also how the CEO thinks it's going to be this $40 trillion market. So let's dive into that a bit more with Rob Kniaz, who's founding partner of H-Tree Capital, a London-based technology venture capital firm. Always good to have you on the show. Look, CEO of Nvidia, Jensen Huang, predicts that physical AI could become a market worth tens of trillions of dollars. He would say that. Could it?
Absolutely. I think it certainly can. I think the way they're looking at it may not be the right pathway with how it actually goes. But certainly everything that has physical components will benefit from some kind of AI in the future. I mean, just thinking about the complexity of moving parts and of the human ecosystem, there's so many things that AI can do better than conventional systems can do.
How big a step is it when humanoid robots move from research labs into universities and real-world testing?
I don't think it's real. It's great for research. A lot of other things will come out of the research, but since they were invented, humans have been anthropomorphizing robots and giving them names and pretending they're people. But the human form is actually really bad to make a robot out of. Creating a bipedal that has to stabilize on its own two legs and has to have independent arms is not a very useful tool. And that's why if you look at robots now across the world in actual use, I don't think there's any really industrial used robot that looks like a robot, that looks like a human. They look like their function, which uses beautiful things like wheels and gears, which humans don't have.
Now, Unitree is heading towards a listing in China. I mean, what does that say, do you think, about the maturity of China's robotics sector?
Well, I think the sector is undoubtedly real. I mean, China has that vast industrial capability now, so mechanization and robotization make perfect sense in that context. So you have an amazing base of local customers and a national support from the very top. It's a very good, real market for everyone else. I think it's happening around the world. It doesn't have that level of investment that's centralized like you have in China.
Let's bring it back to that collaboration. So with Nvidia building partnerships like they're doing with Unitree, but also across the United States, Europe and Asia, who do you think is best placed in the global robotics race?
I think it's too early to say again, because if you look at these robots, most of them aren't going to have like a GPU type chip on them, which is what Nvidia makes. They're going to have, if they do have AI built into the robot itself, they're going to have very specialized chips that are lower cost and higher efficiency, because you always have constraints. You don't have a data center in your factory. You have maybe robots in your factory. So the space for everything either has to be offloaded to a proper data center for the computing power, or you use very specialized chips in the robots themselves. So I think Nvidia has to be part of that ecosystem no matter what. But I don't know it'll be what they're selling right now with GPUs. I think they're basically ensuring they have a space at the table when those things do start ramping up and requiring more power.
Now, Rob, I don't know when you bought into this. I know some people have been on Nvidia's radar for 15 years, but the market seemed to be super excited about physical AI. Is this the market to get in on now, or should you wait?
Honestly, with everything I've done in robotics, it's real, it happens. It just happens at a far slower pace than people expect. I think, right now to the markets, Nvidia can do no wrong. So it certainly won't talk against anything Nvidia does. But I think like any big company, they have to have a footprint in every way, the same way Intel has done, the past 20 or 30 years. Every single thing that was a smart gadget or IoT or smart home, Intel had some component for that. Did it really become a profit center? Not really at all. But when you're that kind of company, you have to have a finger in every pie.
Rob Kniaz, thanks so much. That's Rob Kniaz from Venture Capital Group, based in London.